What's it like living in Northeast Columbia in South Carolina? Well, in this video, we're going to be doing a driving tour around the area, talk about everything it has to offer and encompass. And for those not familiar with the area, right here in the Midlands of South Carolina, Columbia, Lexington, and the Lake Murray area, just northeast of Columbia geographically, we have a section that is considered the northeast part of Columbia. On the west side, it's bordered by I-77, which runs north towards Charlotte, and on the southeast side, it is bordered by I-20 heading east out towards Florence. And essentially the triangle within that area that pretty much spans as far east as Elgin and as far north as Blythewood, that's the area we're talking about. This area houses some of the most sought after neighborhoods in the Midlands, including Woodcreek Farms, Lake Carolina, Cobblestone Park, Wildwood, Spring Valley, and so many more. And in the northeast edge of this area, in Blythewood, will be home to the Scout plant, which is making this area convenient for those considering working there. And of course, being right at that edge of Columbia, it's a convenient location for those that are working downtown. Whether it's the University of South Carolina, stationed at Fort Jackson, the Bull Street District, some of the hospital systems such as Prisma Health, the Dorn VA, MUSC, working for the state, or so many more. This area is home to the Sandhill Mall, the Sesquicentennial State Park, numerous country clubs including Wildwood, Woodcreek Farms, Cobblestone Park, and so many more. And before we dive into some of the neighborhoods that we'll be passing and their current pricing, right here in the northeast part of Columbia, you also find the brand new Lexington Medical Center facility, as well as an MUSC facility for those looking for local hospital systems. And to give you an idea, we got started on Two Notch Roads, where we're driving right now. We're gonna take this down to a road called Sparkleberry, and we're gonna head over through the Wildwood area to talk about that neighborhood. We're gonna take that over to Clemson Road, which will take all the way down to Farrow Road, back to Scrabble, taking that and ending right there at Lake Carolina. And for reference, where we started was at the I-77 exit off of Two Notch, which is minutes from the I-20 interchange at I-20 and I-77. And for those that don't know who I am, my name is Brandon. My team and I of local real estate agents have truly been helping people relocate to the Midlands of South Carolina, Lexington, Columbia, and Lake Murray. So please don't hesitate to reach out. That way you don't have to go at this alone. All right, and we're actually coming up to a neighborhood called Spring Valley. It's gonna be up here on the left. And it is a 1,200 acre rolling hills, mature landscaping, that mature neighborhood with homes right there on the edge of the Spring Valley Country Club that we'll talk about, as well as one of their 8 lakes. It's a semi-gated community. Essentially on that front part we just passed, there's not a gate, but many of the other exits in the neighborhood are gated with truly needing a code or clicker to even exit, preventing a lot of that pass-through traffic. Now to give you an idea, homes in the last year sold between 2,460 square feet and 5,503 square feet. Homes that sold were built between 1967 and 1987. Homes sold from $275,000 up to $750,000 with a $413,000 average. You can find homes in here though ranging from 1,500 square feet up to 8,447 square feet. They do have a country club, but before we do, I do want to touch base on the fact that we just passed the Sesquicentennial Park that I talked about earlier. And to give you a little bit more idea about this park, it's a 1,419 acre state park for you to enjoy in the otherwise, as you can see, urban part of Columbia, South Carolina. There's 78 standard campsites in there with electric and water for RVs or tents, 9 of which are full service. There's 5 primitive camping areas for up to 50 people per site. There's a dog park. They have a splash pad with 26 sprayers on it. It's actually one of the only in the South Carolina State Park system. There's a 30 acre lake right there in the middle that you can use for paddling around and fishing. There's 12 miles of hiking and biking trails. I know we got a lot of other parks that have hike trails, but a lot of people ask about bike trails. As well as there's 3 picnic shelters and 4 picnic pads that you can use for, group outings and family reunions and so much more. We're gonna be turning right on Sparkleberry in just a second here. you'll see some shopping all around, but I want to circle back around to the Spring Valley Country Club. So circling back around, inside of Spring Valley, you will find Spring Valley Country Club. And this is straight from their website. Spring Valley Country Club is a privately owned by its members. Whether you are a golf, tennis, or aquatics enthusiast, the club facilities and activities provide many opportunities to develop deep friendship with other members while enjoying all the amenities and services first-class country club has to offer. Families are also a big part of the Spring Valley environment. Youth of all ages take pleasure in the pool facilities, snack bar during the hot summer months. Many leading members of the community have joined Spring Valley because of the vast opportunities available to them for business connections. For over 60 years, Spring Valley Country Club has been helping families and friends make memories that will last a lifetime. Whether your leisure or business needs may be, Spring Valley Country Club will be happy to accommodate you, your family, and your associates with unparalleled service. Spring Valley Country Club is located on 150 acres of the most beautiful terrain and elevations with large lake, small pond, wildflowers, natural flowering trees, and wildlife, all still abundant in nature's scheme. The 18-hole championship golf course designed by George Cobb in 1960, then renovated by John B. LaFoy III in 1999, rests in the midst of the first upscale residential neighborhood in the northeast area of Columbia, as you heard with some of the ages of the home. The canvas of Bermuda fairways and mini verde Bermuda greens covering 18 classes, classic and distinctive hole provides a challenge to both the novice golfers and tournament players alike. Truly a year-round facility in the mild weather of South Carolina. The course's unique bunker, large greens, and elevated trees provide a rare outing for men, women, and children who are dedicated to mastering the game of golf. So again, we're making a right here on Sparkle Bay, heading towards Wildwood, and you kind of see some different shopping centers that around the area, but I want to get talking about Wildwood because we're coming up to it here on the right. It does border Sesquicentennial that we passed earlier, but Wildwood is another popular neighborhood. As well, it has the country club, but to give you a little idea, it's 1,600 acres, the neighborhood itself, with a golf course and a country club made up of over 10 different subsections, including multiple gated sections. Interesting now, it was inspired by another neighborhood called Wildwood that was actually found in Memphis, Tennessee. The developer of this went over there, was inspired by it, and even some of the names of the streets even match the street names of the original Wildwood over in Memphis, Tennessee. Initially, it did include polo fields where real polo matches were once played. One of the biggest ones was replaced by some now homes in the area. But to give you an idea in the neighborhood, as we kind of pull up to it, you'll start to see it on the right. We're not going to drive entirely through it, but we will pass a ton of it on the right. You may catch eyes of some of it. But homes in the last year sold between 1,381 square feet up to 6,907 square feet. Homes that sold were built between 1977 to 2020. Homes range from 140,000 up to 1.225 million, with an average price in Wildwood at 484,000. In this neighborhood, though, you can find homes from 1,300 square feet up to 9,500 square feet. Now, a little more about the country club that does lie within Wildwood. So in 2019, a group of 60 residents investors purchased Wildwood from First Citizens Bank with the vision of creating a community-based club that serves as the center of the neighborhood. According to their site, the neighborhood located in Columbia's northeast section of the city includes Wildwood and the surrounding communities. Over the next several years, we are excited about planned improvements to our facility, which will allow the Wildwood Club to better serve the community. The golf course was designed by Russell Breeden and opened in 1976. Built on over 160 acres, there's not a single parallel fairway as the course unfolds through the rolling terrain of the Sandhills. The layout is fair yet challenging for all players with excellent course conditions and Tiff Eagle Bermuda greens. Each hole is framed by great oak and pine trees, making it one of the most playable golf courses in the area. Our staff golf offers lessons for all level of players. The Wildwood Club enjoys a full clubhouse, pub, driving range, putting green, and golf shop. The tennis facilities at the Wildwood Club include 4 lighted clay courts, 4 lighted hard courts, and 2 climate-controlled indoor hard courts. Tennis members enjoy a robust program with both social matches and opportunities to participate on one of our competitive USTA teams as part of the Columbia Tennis League. Our members enjoy a comprehensive year-round range of activities for men, women, and juniors with a full-time tennis professional on site. We offer all levels of lessons and clinics to our members. Pickleball courts are coming soon. I've talked to you about this as this has recently become a trend here in the Midlands. The swimming facility opens from Memorial Day to Labor Day with the possibility of extended open seasons. Lifeguards and typical amenities on site. A new splash pad has been added as one of the capital improvements. Social offers include your participation in organized events, special functions, access to the facilities for private events, and ongoing opportunities to build neighborhood fellowship. A new playground has been added for members' use for the season. Swim offers access to the regulation size pool for sanctioned completions. Was one of the main entrances was there on the right. As I said, that was all encompassing that entire Wildwood area. Again, this is made up of a ton of different sections in there, gated neighborhoods, as well as a ton that sit right there on the golf course. Either way, we're making a left onto Clemson Road. If we would make a right, that'll actually put us right where I-77 is, super close to the interstate, as you can see. As we come down Clemson Road here, a couple neighborhoods I'm gonna talk about. The first is gonna be the neighborhood of Ashcroft. I've actually done a video about it in the past, but I'm gonna give you right from Mungo's website. This is a Mungo neighborhood. This award-winning community, Ashcroft, offers a variety of floor plans ranging from 1,483 square feet to more than 4,000 square feet, with options such as first or second floor primary suites. We have something to fit every stage of life. Most plans include a designated home office, flex or bonus room, or extra bedroom. Obviously, minutes from the interstate, prime location off of Clemson Road with easy access to I-20. Residents will enjoy resort-style amenities that include a pool, clubhouse, playground, fire pit, and hammock garden. Ashcroft was named the 2023 and 22 Community of the Year by Builder Industry Association of Central South Carolina. As far as pricing, last year homes sold were built between 2022 and 2024. Homes selling from $246,000 up to $505,000, with the average right around $365,000. There are currently 29 active homes for sale ranging from $274,000 up to $489,000. After we are coming up to this intersection on the right, we'll actually take you to Woodcreek Farms. Right outside of Woodcreek Farms, we won't see it in this, there's a brand new public shopping center that they are currently building. And so for those in the neighborhood, this will be close shopping as well as some that we pull up to. But I want to give you an idea about Woodcreek Farms. I've done some videos about this in the past as well. 2,300 acre master plan community with a country club right in the middle. This neighborhood is made up of many different sections, from townhomes to patio homes, new construction to exclusive gated neighborhoods right on the golf course, as well as many of their lakes. Give you an idea, in the last year, homes sold from 1,300 square feet up to 7,381 square feet, ranging from single family to townhomes, built from 2000 to brand new in 2024. Pricing coming from $221,000 up to $1,325,000, with an average in Woodcreek Farm at $420,000. Homes in the area, though, to give you an idea, were built between 1,164 square feet up to 17,228 square feet with a 1,598 square foot guest house. No, that was not a typo when I said 17,000 square feet. As I said, some of the most exclusive neighborhoods in the area. To give you an idea though, the country club itself, the Woodcreek Club, is a member-only club with all events planned just for its members' enjoyment. Many of the events' origins have come from member suggestion and inspiration. As a golf member, you have full access to all golf amenities throughout the club. The Woodcreek Club encompasses a beautiful 12,000 square foot clubhouse with full dining facilities, golf merchandise shop, event area with stunning views of the 1st and 18th hole with beautiful sunsets. The Woodcreek Club, though itself, golf course, is a Tom Fazio designed and inspired golf course nested in the heart of nature. Fazio designed the course as playable but challenging to all golfers alike. The course provides unique landscaping and no two holes throughout the property are alike. So as we come up here, we're actually going to be crossing back over Two Notch Road. So you remember we started on Two Notch and we turned on Sparkle Bear. If you would have continued straight, it will actually take us to right below. We're actually going to be passing over it. Two Notch will continue on up to the town of Elgin, if you're familiar. But as we're going to pull up here, you might see some signs in the distance for the villages at Sandhill. Some of the shopping is there off of too much, but the main entrance is gonna be right here off of Clemson Road. I'm gonna give you an idea about what this has to offer. So it's a 300-acre development in the Columbia area. Tons of different stores in here. It's actually an outdoor, primarily, the main center is an outdoor mall with Belk and JCPenney's being some of those main stores. And then again, you have some of the stuff spread off of it. Sam's Club, Lowe's Food, but right there in it, you have the Regal Movie Theater, Flight Trampoline Park, Home Depot, Hobby Lobby, Fresh Market, as well as a recently announced homes being built within walking distance of the area. Now, I do wanna just be 100% honest with this shopping center. So it's had a little bit of a struggle story, to be 100% honest. And I'm gonna talk about this. So they said it originated back in 2004, and obviously 2008 came and hit the shopping center pretty hard, and obviously they were working on their growth after that. And then as you can imagine, the pandemic happened, which hurt a lot of businesses during that time. A lot of malls we saw shut down during the pandemic across the country. As I've always said, one of the benefits here we've had is that the pandemic sparked a lot of people moving to the area. So we've kind of seen a little bit of revitalization of the Sandhills Mall. When we first moved out here, 2015-ish, we had come out to the mall and there was a lot of places that were shutting down. It was kind of, you know, sad seeing all these closing signs, closing sales and things like that. But so either way, they have said that their occupancy rate is up about 15% from what it is 2 to 3 years ago. So they're on the right track is what they said. They're aiming for 100%, but they're not quite there. Again, if you drive through that, you will see some of the vacancies. I was over there the other day and there's just kind of a line of shops. But either way, they are working hard to keep it lively and keep it growing. So I look forward to seeing that. As we come up here though, we're gonna be passing another master plan community on the right, the Summit. Obviously convenient location close to Sandhill Malls there. But this is not a country club neighborhood like some of the other ones, but it does feature over 30 different subsections within the Summit. And one of the reasons it's a highlight is obviously the proximity to Sandhills Mall, the interstate, as well as there's a lot of the schools right there in the neighborhood and on the edge of the neighborhood, making it convenient to access. As some of you have explored the area know, some of them are a little more spread out. But to give you an idea, the Summit in whole, like I said, tons of different neighborhoods. Homes ranging that sold over the last year from 1,058 square feet up to 3,522 square feet. Home ranging from 93,500 up to 400,000 with an average of 246,000. Now, I will say, for full disclosure, 93,000 home had extensive water damage that said it would require a full renovation. Removing that, the lowest price was a townhome coming in at $150,000. Overall though, you can find homes from 987 square feet, patio homes up to 3,923 square foot homes. All right, so before we hit our next destination, I want to talk about some stats of the area to give you a better idea of the general area. And so what we're driving through is pretty much broken down into 2 different zip codes, the 29229 zip code and the 29223 zip code. The 29223 zip code is where we started this off at. And from the most recent census, it says that it's made up of 26.12 square miles, population of 50,141, with about 1966 people per square mile. There's 22,155 housing units, with 20,278 considered to be occupied. Stats show that 53% of the homes are occupied, 38% are rented, and 8% are considered vacant. There's a total of 8,817 rentals from studio apartments to 3+ bedrooms. 94% of the people that live in the area said they were dependent on a vehicle, with less than 1% relying on public transportation. 1% walked or biked to work, and 3.4% said they work from home. 66% of the households said they had kids, and 34% said they did not. Moving on to the 29229 zip code, which we rolled into second, says it's made up of 20.64 square miles. Population came in at 44,229. 2,156 people per square mile, made up of 16,734 housing units, 16,678 which are considered occupied. Stats show that 73% of homes are owned, 20% are rented, and 6% are vacant. Total of 3,675 rentals in the area, ranging from studio apartments to 3+ bedrooms. 96% said they were dependent on a vehicle for transportation. 2.8% said they work from home, 1% said they walk or bike to work. Stats also show in this area 50% of the homes had kids, with 50% having homes without kids. And every time I bring up rentals, it always brings up the question. I get investors all the time, hey, we're looking at investing in the area. I think this is the perfect time as we come up to this intersection here. We're gonna be actually going straight. I got into the wrong lane. As you can see, there's a lot of construction around here, and we'll be talking about this a little bit later when we come back up hard Scrabble that we're gonna be passing now. But this is hard Scrabble. We're gonna loop around and come back up. Lake Carolina is gonna be to the right, but I wanna show you some other areas around here, the Killian area and so much more. But either way, circling back around as we come up to this intersection, I wanted to point it out since it is such a main crossroad in here. The thing I wanted to say is when it comes to rentals in our area, this is something I hit on so often, and I wanna hit on again in this video. So we have 2 tax rates. We really have 3, but tax rates when it comes to homes. 3 because we also have agricultural, but you have your primary residence tax rate as well as your secondary tax rate. And that would be if it's a rental, if it's your second house, vacation home, whatever it may be, it's a different tax rate. And an entire video about invest in the area that breaks this down. But to give you an idea, it's about 4 to 5 times as much for those secondary residents. If you've been looking online at homes and you randomly see this super high assessed tax rate, I know some of the sites share it. That's why. It's typically because it's currently as a rental. So I want to let people know that, because again, every time I talk about these rental rates, people are like, seems like a good area for rentals, because obviously with the college, with Fort Jackson, all these things, and it is, but obviously you have to take that cost into effect when you're doing it. But either way, as we come down this, we're actually heading to a section called Killian, and this is the reason I wanted to go this way, to give you an idea about this shopping area, as well as we'll be coming up to where the brand new Lexington Medical Center is. And it'll be just a little bit before we cross it, and I'll point it out as we do, but the reason I bring this up, for those not familiar with the area, first time watching, I've talked about this before, we basically have 4 different hospital systems, and I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier when we were talking about it. So you have Lexington Medical Center, you have Prisma Health, you have MUSC that bought out Providence Hospital System, and you have the Dorn VA. So the biggest hospital system is going to be Prisma Health, and Prisma Health has a couple different campuses downtown as well as towards Irmo. On this side of town though, you do have what was Providence Northeast that was bought out by MUSC. We won't cross it in this, but I'll kind of give you guidance of where it is. It's not going to be too far from when we turn up ahead in just a little bit. But as well, in recent times, coming up to this intersection here, Lexington Medical Center built a brand new facility right here in the northeast part of Columbia. I've talked about before how there's almost, the benefit to us is there's competition between all the hospital systems to try and basically get business. And so even though it's Lexington Medical Center, originated in the Lexington kind of West Columbia area, they expanded their practice over to this area to help, you know, capture people as well. And so again, we're starting to see that quite a bit more. Of course, you have different clinics of different types of the hospital systems throughout the entire area, but we're talking about actual hospital systems, ERs, things like that. And so that's where that is. But either way, as we come in here, you'll start to see some of the shopping. Lowe's over there, all these will be coming up ahead in the minute, where you'll see Pop Shelf, Move Fitness, Salsaritas. There's a Super Kroger Marketplace, Freddy's frozen custard and steak burgers, Chick-fil-A, and there's actually a ton of, you'll see a couple of them car dealerships over here. There's an Audi dealership, there's a Toyota dealership, a Honda dealership, BMW. There's just a bunch of Porsche, I guess I'm saying it wrong, sorry, I don't drive fancy cars, but all around this area. And so this is gonna be that main shopping district on this side, Killian, if you ever hear people talk about Killian shopping. With that said, to the right here, and kind of, I'll point it out now, to the right here, we'll start taking you into some of the Blythewood living area. We're not gonna drive through Blythewood in this video. We'll drive through it in one of the other videos that I do. But if you go right there, it will take you to where Blythewood High School is, some of the Blythewood living and all of that. Again, we'll tackle that in another video. Obviously, there's a scout plant up there, but I bring it up because I tell people Blythewood, a lot of times when they check it out, they realize it's a relatively small town right now. There is a downtown, they got Doco Meadows where they do local events and things like that. But with that said, a lot of people, where's the shopping at? And a lot of it's going to be right there off of Killian that we just passed. So again, convenient shopping centers for both those in Northeast Columbia as well as the part that's Blythewood. But we did make a left on Faro Road, and so we're coming down Faro Road. Again, as you can see, there's a lot of construction in this area. So one of the things I point out, and I'm glad I did this driving video to kind of get you eyes on it, and we'll post a lot more of it in Hardscrabble, because you'll see a lot of people online talk about the construction in the area. Obviously, the benefit when this is all done, it's going to be great. The Hardscrabble one is tricky though. I'll just be 100% honest with it. I feel like as long as I've been in real estate, driving up here to Northeast Columbia, it's been under construction, and you'll see it as we go, because basically they're widening it. It was a 2-lane road. It's a very heavy traveled road because it's one of the main drags to get you from one side of town to the other. I've talked about, if you watch my Lake Carolina video and some of the other ones, I've talked about how when I'm going out to show in Lake Carolina, I try and avoid Hardscrabble just because as they're doing the construction, it can be a nightmare. And so there's a back way where you can go out through Blythewood and come back around. Again, once that's all wrapped up, this is going to be so much easier, as you'll see as we come up to Hardscrabble in just a little bit here. But again, I want to point that out and show you all why we're here doing this, just because again, the comment section will be littered with people talking about some of these things, which is try, with the Sandhills Mall, like, hey, there's a bunch of vacancies, and hey, there's so much traffic on Hardscrabble, which brings up another point. People always say, like, when did you film this? So I usually pick the middle of the week. I don't pick the weekends, I pick the middle of the week, and I usually do it in the middle of the day, mainly because of the sunlight. I've tried different hours of the day, but the problem is when you're driving the sun, the glare just makes it horrible. Sunset, just same thing. It gets dark too quick on these longer drives, and so it's the middle of the day. And so traffic, I'll be honest, is lighter than normal. Of course, if you're coming home from work at 5 o'clock, or it's school season and it's 3 o'clock and all the schools are getting out, yeah, traffic is gonna be worse. I'm not gonna deny that fact. I'm not gonna sit here as people argue in the comments and say, you're just not showing them the traffic. Like, yes, of course, those things do happen on all parts of towns. Again, as I said, one of the biggest things I've said is that they're working on the roads. That's what I've seen since I've been here, is a constant work on the roads. Do I wish it would be faster? Absolutely. But you know what? I grew up in California. They were always working on the roads out there too. This doesn't seem to be exclusive to South Carolina here. Sure, I've been to other states that the roads in general seem to be better, but it's this constant where it feels like they're working on it all the time. But as long as they're working on it to better it, once those roads are done, it will be nice. But we are coming back up here to Hardscrabble, and we're going to be turning onto Hardscrabble here to head up that way. And so continuing straight to give you an idea is going to take you to where that now MUSC facility is that I talked about, where I said MUSC bought out Providence. They have a facility right there. It's also going to take you right back to I-77. As we cross over these train tracks here and head this way, so you may have remembered there was a Mungo neighborhood years ago that had homes under 200,000 that I talked about in a couple of videos. That's actually right down here to the right. That's where that neighborhood is. They said it sold out in almost a day. They had people lined up to buy houses just because of the price. And if you don't remember watching that video, I talked about how the one big caveat they made is that it was primary residence only. So that way you didn't have a bunch of investors come in and buy up all the homes in there and turn them all into rentals. And so that's why they had a line at the door for people to buy these homes. And like I said, sold out in the first day. So again, they really liked it. They were glad that they were able to help serve that community of those people that, don't have that budget to buy those bigger homes, hey, let's get you in a brand new home so you don't have to stress and sweat about all the maintenance that you're finding in some of the lower priced homes. So either way, that's where that was right back there. Again, here we are on Scrabble Road. You can see widening it. They're getting close, as you can see. It's widened now. They got the sidewalks on each side of the road. It's 4 lanes, just not painted to 4 lanes. So by the time you watch this, not sure when you're watching this, it may be closer. Now, I hate to say it, what it seems like is they are kind of, you know, you ever watch construction, you're like, I wish, why don't you just open up this section right here? Like, you're done with this section, let's open it. And you feel like they wait till the whole thing is done before they do that on the interstate too. You're like, can you just open, like, let us start using these lanes now? But either way, I digress. I don't work for DOT. Neither do I care to. So I'll let them worry about that. But either way, you can see all this here. Either way, we're gonna continue down Scrabble Road. And this is gonna take us to Lake Carolina. And I'll dive into more about Lake Carolina as we get closer to it. So on the right, we are passing back over Farrow Road that we came across earlier. All right, so as we get closer to Lake Carolina, if you haven't heard about it, heard me talk about it, it's a master plan community like no other in the area. This neighborhood consists of 1,850 acres, including a 200-acre private lake. It includes 30 miles of bike trails, nature trails, sidewalks throughout the entire community, tennis courts, picnic pavilions, playgrounds, multiple pools, as well as an elementary school, middle school, and the Jeep Rogers YMCA built right there in Lake Carolina, which about it, for a separate membership, it isn't private to Lake Carolina, anyone can join it in the area. You'll get access to their indoor pool, gym, track, basketball courts, yoga, Pilates, tennis courts, childcare, summer camp, athletic fields for different sports, and so much more that the YMCA has to offer. They actually, one of the really cool things, they do what's called a Parents' Night Out. Where basically there's one night a month that they do night daycare that you can pay to drop your kids off, and so y'all can go out on date night. Something that super excited me, we used to have a YMCA in Lexington, and unfortunately, pre-pandemic, before everyone started relocating here, that one where it was located just wasn't getting the traction, so they shut it down. I recently have been in talks with the head of the local YMCA, and he says that they are in talks to try and put one back in Lexington for those in Lexington. But either way, going backwards to Lake Carolina, I know I got a little squirrel moment there on that tangent, but either inside of Lake Carolina, it has 2 of its own town centers as well. One of them, a lot of boutique shops and things like that. The other one over there has restaurants, shops, so much more. I think there's a hair salon in there. Again, it's such a unique neighborhood. And it was built 2 different ways. Some of the sections within the neighborhood, developers came in, built all the homes and sold them. Mungo, I made a video about one of the Mungo neighborhoods recently, had quite a few people buy within there, wrapping up that neighborhood over there, Woodley Park. Other neighborhoods were sold off as lots. One of the gated neighborhoods did have some lots. I'm not sure if they all sold last time I checked. They were kind of winding down to the last few, but they were sold off as lots. And people chose their own builder to build custom homes in there. And you'll kind of understand this as I talk about the size and pricing of homes. But in the last year, to give you an idea though what sold, I'll tackle that. Homes ranging from 1,299 square feet up to 4,642 square feet. Homes built from 1990 to 2023. pricing ranging from about $175,000 up to $750,000, with the average price in Lake Carolina at $377,000. But to give you an idea, homes in Lake Carolina range from 1,200 square feet to 9,411 square feet. Obviously, again, one of the big highlights is Lake Carolina. Talk a lot about Lake Murray in a lot of my videos, the 50,000 acre lake right there in Lexington. But to have a neighborhood on this side of town, a private lake right there in your neighborhood, is such a draw to so many people. There are homes right there on the lake. I've had people buy on Lake Carolina where you can put a dock, you can go boating out on Lake Carolina. Or as well, you can buy into the lake membership. And so to give you an idea, Lake Carolina is set up a little bit different than most neighborhoods here in the Midlands. And so what I mean by that is some of these neighborhoods, you know, some people are like, you know, I want to be in this neighborhood, but I'm not going to go use the pool, so I don't want to pay for it. I'm not going to go use the lake, so I don't want to pay for it. So what they did is they kind of broke everything apart. And what I mean by that is basically your neighborhood will have its own HOA fee. If you want to be a part of the pools, all those amenities with that, you can buy into that. If you want to be a part of the lake, you can buy into that. So obviously that's one of the benefits a lot of people like of it, is they can kind of pick and choose, versus I know some people are like, I don't want to pay for all this stuff. I like the neighborhood, to give you an idea. But again, either way, having that private lake right up here that you can actually go boating on, basically, as you can see in this more densely populated area, is one of the big desires, especially with the downtown, where a lot of people, you know, will go grab a bite to eat. You know, there's a little convenience store, you know, if you got to go in there, and not too far out, as you can see, as we drove down the way, you have your shopping centers and things like that. And then of course the school's right there and there, where there's some neighborhoods that you truly can walk your kids to school. I know I talk to people a lot, that's something they desire, and that's why it's such a unique neighborhood for the area. If you're looking for one of those neighborhoods that you can walk to a little downtown to grab ice cream, you can walk your kids to elementary school, there are multiple sections within Lake Carolina that you can do this.